Hey, this is Darkroom Garage YouTube channel, and we have just made our first Ethernet cable since we were 15, and it works. This was a Belkin cable with strain release, but we can't be using that because the end's broke on it. Let's cut the ends off. God damn, it's hot out here. Got a bunch of connectors that are broken, so we're fixing them. We bought this thing, it was like $7, and for like $1, actually no, I could have got it cheaper. It was like $7 and change, but for like $6 you didn't get anything. For $7 it got through in a bunch of connectors. So I said, let me just practice, it's worth it for the $1. So these wires are all wired wrong. This is like 10 megabit per second, I think. Yeah, it was reversed. We had green starting on one side and ended in like striped brown. Some of these I think I originally made for linking connections. They weren't even for a hub or a switch or anything. This computer to computer. That's what we did back in the day. These wires are old. I built them. That one's kind of new. It looks 6 of 03. That's probably one of the last ones I made. I used to make them all the time at school for free, so that was cool when this stuff was kind of expensive. Story time, I had a nice 50 or 100 foot cable Belkin that ran from the upstairs to the downstairs, and I tried to yank it right when we were moving, and I got it stuck in the freaking wall. But if I would have cut the end off, I would have been okay. I could have bought an end and a crimper, I could have saved the cable, but the cable probably still there. Damn it. Oh well. So basically what you do is you cut your old end off. These are some good ends that were done kind of correctly. I used those as a model. And crimp a new thing. You gotta get your wiring color correct, which I'm kind of remembering. Yeah, I wasted a little ink. Draft mode. Striped. Orange. Solid. Orange. Striped green. Solid blue. Striped blue. Green. Striped brown. Brown. And the connector is down when you're looking at this. It is down. You see connector up, brown's over here, connector down, brown's over there. So that's what you do on both sides, you match it. This is the B pattern, the 568B. It seems to work. I made like 3 cables, this would be the 4th one. I was not going to waste all this cable, but then I said if it has an end and it has an end, it doesn't matter. I'm really not wasting it because I can just cut it somewhere else and then put an end and an end on it. So I have to shorten all my wires. It's a mess. I'm not even going to tell you what this reminds me of. Alright, we got to pull the string back, and then you get the stuff, and then you got to trim around. Pull this off, cut that back, and then ideally you should cut more of it back, because if you nick the wiring when you did this, you don't want to nick the wires. So you just peel back as much as possible, leave as much as the conductors hanging out, and then trim them back and get your order. You can find it. The pull string is the piece that you use to cut the insulation. Some wires, they don't have it. I just did it on a Belkin wire that was already pre-made, but it had busted ends and didn't have it. And we're pretty much there with our pattern. It's a striped orange, orange, striped green, blue, striped blue, green, striped brown, brown. A good way to remember this, if you don't have the diagram on you, usually like every color, it's different. You never have a solid next to a solid and a stripe next to a stripe. So that's a good way of doing it. I think ideally, I don't know if I'm not really a network dude, but if you have all your wires the same on one side and the same on the other, I'm not seeing why it would not work. You know, the color really means nothing. It's just the grouping. You have to keep the grouping the same. If you did blue, blue, whatever, and if it's the same on the other side, wouldn't it still travel pin to pin? It probably would. I don't think there's a difference. I don't know. You're just matching up the same wires to the same wires. But I keep it consistent. Why not? Don't confuse yourself. And now we got to trim them back. We have to use one of our model plugs. Figure like the wires have to go to the top of those pins. So yeah, we're cutting a lot of this back. I just use a sharp pair of scissors for this. I feel I get a better cut than wire cutters. So this something like that will work excellent. Just mark it. You know, if you mess up, you can always do it again. Again, just estimate how much the casing is going to go through the connector, and trim back the wires accordingly. Alright, jammed it in there. Made sure that your wires don't move. That's the tricky part. These aren't pass-through connectors. They do make these pass-through, so your wires come out the other side, and then you trim it over there. I might buy those. Green might be actually scratched a little bit. I don't know. It's hard to see. Could be just distortion through the connector, but I'm running with it. I figure if you don't have two that are cut, you're fine. So we're just gonna crimp it. Tool, cheap one. Line up the jagged with the gold pins and the little this driver thing with the hole in the connector. See, bam, push down. But I like to use two hands. I gotta put down my camera. I like to push up on the casing while I crimp it. So hold on. And now do your other end, and hopefully it'll work. And this is Cat 5e cable, if I didn't already say. Now they're up to Cat 7. Cat 6 is shielded. The wire is fatter, and it uses a little different connector. Alright. My videos are the best. Please subscribe for more of my videos. Like and subscribe, and you will see more nonsense in the future. Alright, pull that back. You see the ropey thing, it cuts it. Awesome. You know the drill. I forgot to mention that the wires usually come paired too. They're twisted in pairs, so you untwist it when you make them. Yeah, not very hard. All you have to do is take your time. Because the first wire or second wire I did, I really screwed it up. And don't think you're excellent at it just because you did like 5 wires. You know, you're still going to mess up, especially with these connectors. This stuff can jump on you. Just make sure that everything's in order before you crimp it. So you always check your pattern because it just slipped on me again. Push it down. Get your casing in and crimp it. Now we're correct. So hard to see. This could be an eye test. If you can't see this, you shouldn't be allowed to drive. Here's some decent information about RJ45 wiring. I use the T568B pattern, but the T568A pattern is close. I believe they're interchangeable. Just the colors they change. Hold on, this is a little different. This is for phone. Oh wait, no it's not, because I see it over here. I'm not seeing this, I'm going blind. I think one of my cables was an A, but now they're all B. Yeah, I did it this style, maybe. No, I think I did it the other way. I did it this way. That's the way I built it, I believe. Yeah, this is a crossover cable. I think we used to build these too. We used to connect computer to computer. It's all good information though. I should have learned this like 10 years ago. I should have had the tools, but never did. But it works. All my cables do work. It's no BS. I put them away, I would show you, but everything works perfectly. First time doing it, 15 years. Should buy a whole roll of Cat 6 cable, and I can make better cables. Cat 6 has a shield in it, a little different than Cat 5e. See the shielding? I believe that's in the middle. It's not the rope that they're showing, it's something else, but it could be just an example image. It's not accurate. But there we go. And the gauge is fatter on it. And my plan is on Ghetto World, I want to ditch my cable that runs outside my room. I had to go notch the door and everything to get it out like 10 years ago. Lived here too long. And I'm going to use this Cat 5e cable that was in the wall. It was wired, I believe, for phones. Only 4 conductors. You see the 4 down there, the shorter ones were used. So I'm going to wire up this plug. And it was wired up in the A fashion, so I just pulled them all out. I'm going to wire it up in the B fashion. But I need I'm waiting for a Bix tool, a little thing you push down and it's like a punch / cutter, and you put it in here and it punches down and cuts the wires. And then I want to find the other end of this. If it's not, it doesn't terminate in a box that's behind this wall in the garage, which I can't check, I got too much crap. I'm going to join this wire with another wire that comes to another outlet in the attic with a union. It's basically like a double S. Crimp ends on it in the attic, plug it into a little like coupler, you know, another end on the other wire, and then that should be hot, so I can plug in the other room right in there. I can plug it in, and this is hot, and I don't need the wire outside my room anymore, which is awesome.